Let's talk a little about what happens when something goes wrong. While the company may look for cyber heroes, the cybersecurity professionals need to be prepared every day to deal with unexpected circumstances. Sometimes, however, the cyber heroes aren't available. I've needed some myself, some heroes here lately. Just for fun, I had Copilot generate a cyber hero for me, and a good backstory which I modified liberally. Here I am, a college professor at KSU, a brilliant cryptographer and an ethical hacker working for a global digital rights coalition, in addition to my job as a KSU university professor. One day I uncovered a massive surveillance conspiracy targeting Gen Z students. I would not remain quiet and was passionate about protecting the Gen Z community. I became the target of a cyber assassination, my identity erased, my research stolen, my life dismantled. But I didn't vanish. Instead, I fused my mind with quantum AI. I recoded myself into Cypher Sentinel, a living firewall armed with quantum encryption and powered by the Cypher Core, a sentient AI forged from my stolen research and my own neural patterns. Now I roam the interconnected realms of cyberspace, dismantling unethical sentient algorithms and shielding vulnerable communities from exploitation. My mind is a fortress of quantum encryption. My intuition sharper than any zero-day exploit. I don't just fight code, I rewrite reality in the language of logic. You don't mess with Dr. Amy. Okay, it was kind of a fun exercise. Here are the 3 potential cyber heroes that I could use. Okay, now let's get on to the real stuff. Most breaches are internal, whether they are intentional or unintentional. This is why organizations make you take regular security training and retraining, also called security education training and awareness, or CETA. They may call it information security education training and awareness, information assurance education training and awareness, cybersecurity education training and awareness, or something entirely different. As you see in the next section, there are numerous titles for cybersecurity professionals, and they vary by industry and organization. Companies may also do testing where they send phishing attempts and see who lets them know about it and who gets duped. I just had one sent to me about 3 days ago, and they thanked me for forwarding it to them. Ultimately, there are 2 types of companies: those who have experienced or possibly fought off breaches, and those who don't realize they've experienced breaches. You may have noticed that cybersecurity professionals have lots of different job titles. While the government has standardized for some positions, you still have state and city and localities that haven't standardized. And private industry, they are all over the place. So you have to read through the job description, scanning for what you do well and or what you want to do. Business or cybersecurity analyst positions are a catch-all for all sorts of cyber positions as well. Job hunting ain't for the faint of heart, as this person shows. One thing that I strongly believe, if the CISO or similar title doesn't report to the CEO, then the organization may not have a strong enough focus on cybersecurity. People may not notice cybersecurity until bad things happen. The person in charge of cybersecurity needs to be a C-level executive, just like their CFO, CIO, and COO counterparts, or they're called VPs or directors in some organizations. I saw a presentation where someone described how CISOs often report to CIOs, which relegates the CIO to a lowercase c and not a full-fledged member of the C-suite. CISOs need to report to to the CEO and be part of the capital C-suite as shown here. As you have gone through this course, did you find a position that interests you? What roles or tasks you should be able to perform? Or are there some roles you think you will be able to perform, likely at the end of the BS Cyber program of study? Hint, pen testing, system hardening, etc. You'll learn how to do many of these in later classes, as we discuss shortly. Do you want to be in hands-on technical support or customer service, which is one of the most desired skills for cybersecurity professionals? Gone are the days where the techie nerds sit in the corner by themselves wearing glasses, eating frozen pizza, and drinking Dr. Pepper. The cybersecurity professional needs to be able to communicate quickly, efficiently, and clearly to both technical and non-technical audiences. When an incident occurs, crisis management comes into play, and the cybersecurity professional must be able to respond to stop the attack, keep the details for law enforcement, communicate with legal authorities, communicate with internal executives, and sometimes communicate with the public. If not, the cyber professional must be able to let that person know what to say to the public. Cybersecurity must be designed into every aspect of the organization, including manufacturing, login policies like biometrics and multi-factor authorization that we all hate, and policies and training to deal with people who bring their own devices with them to the workplace. How do you secure the workplace when everyone has a personal phone, tablet, and laptop in their backpack? That's why they hire you. Even with growth in the number of people who are choosing cybersecurity as a major, there still aren't enough qualified U.S. citizens to fill the positions available. Organizations often need professionals in advanced roles, and since cybersecurity is a separate and distinct field from computer science, information systems, and software engineering, it's only recently become a distinct major, firms may have difficulty finding the highly experienced professionals needed. So what do they do? Employers may turn to H-1B visas, as they have in the past, but that may have its own set of problems. Some argue we could train new graduates here in the U.S., offer more co-ops and internships to train them, and or engage with universities to ensure the graduates are receiving the curriculum needed to be successful. Here at KSU, we are trying to fill that gap with qualified cybersecurity graduates and a curriculum informed by our advisory board. You are our qualified cybersecurity graduates. There's been an interesting turn in the H-1B visa situation. The application process has been very competitive in the past, with top tech firms vying for the best talent. However, the Trump administration is proposing a $100,000 application fee and then $100K per year until the person gets their green card, which is about 6 years. That's a major expense that corporations may have to contend with. Who's been getting the H-1B visas? For 2024, almost 50,000 H-1B visas were granted to Amazon, Infosys, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, and others. 50,000. And there still aren't enough cybersecurity professionals to meet the needs. That's good for you. Have you heard of Catch-22 by Joseph Heller? According to dictionary.com, a catch-22 is a no-win dilemma or paradox, similar to damned if I do, damned if I don't. The example they use is what we're talking about. You can't get a job without experience, but you can't get experience unless you have a job. It's a catch-22. So how do you get experience with a co-op or internship or regular job, for instance, when you need experience to get a co-op or internship or regular job? Network. Get out there and talk to other people. Go ahead and get a few certifications if you know what you'd like to do and if they require little to no industry experience and little to no cash. If you know technology and or have technical skills and you can communicate, you can rule the world, because those two things often don't go together. Here are a few suggestions. Look for co-ops and internships that don't require experience or that have lower pay than others. Keep looking for one that's a good fit. Don't rely solely on KSU's career planning. Use all sources. Join student organizations or attend their events. Get involved in student organizations. You can go and listen to the speakers, ask them questions afterward, network with the other students, faculty, and industry professionals, and get free food too. Become a student assistant or tutor, especially if it has a technology component, or become a tutor, especially of courses that use relevant technology. Guess what one of the universal technologies that employers want entry-level or junior-level professionals to know? Excel. Complete research projects with faculty members. Work with a faculty member on any type of research project. Most of us are pretty approachable and like to engage with students on research projects related to topics we publish on. So get to know the faculty better. Do well in the class so they will remember you. That looks good on your resume too. I have published in journals several articles with undergraduate students. Keep an electronic portfolio of your best work. You could simply describe what you did in your cyber courses and what you learned in terms of technology, communication, cybersecurity, etc. Keep up with all the skills that you learn and document them. You may want to rate them as low, medium, or high, or use another skill. For example, you may evaluate yourself with medium skill in Python, an essential technical skill for cybersecurity graduates. Finally, know your classmates. Get to know them better. And for goodness sake, please do well in your group projects. Yes, group projects are brutal and horrible, and nobody does their fair share. But you do them in industry, and speaking from experience, you always have stragglers there. If you're the project manager, most of the people don't even work for you directly, which makes dealing with issues complex. However, if you do well on group projects and everyone knows it, you have just networked for a future job. The students you work with are watching you, in a good way hopefully, and may remember you when they have a job opening. Check out a couple of team events we compete in, like the Cyber Defense Competition. More on this later. A couple of student organizations I suggest are Offensive Security, or OffSec, Information System Security Association, ISSA, Women in Technology, WIT, not just for women, and many others. I don't know if you live nearby, but the clubs are well aware. We often have online students and try to stream wherever possible. It doesn't matter as much that you get involved with all of the organizations, but find one or two that interest you. All of the ones that I mentioned above are involved with the ISS department and offer numerous engagement opportunities, demonstrations, presentations, career fairs, career help each semester at various times. Check the schedule. Also, being part of an organization lets you network with the students in the organization who may be farther along than you and can share their experiences. You also get to network with the people who come and make presentations or talk about their organizations or whatever. Some of them only hire KSU grads because they know our students and their skills. You're never bothering me if you have questions about the class or your career. In fact, you can ask me questions about any of that long after you're out of this class. And I hope you'll let me know when you get a job, whether it's a great job or just pays the bills, or a master's degree, or a new certification, or just a check-in. I like to hear what my students do in the future. Register with Career Services and ask them for help. They are free, which means you have already paid for them. As certifications go, obviously The CISSP, the granddaddy, is the ultimate goal, but that's on down the line. 5 years experience, a big test. You can't go wrong with a CompTIA A+ to start, though. It says you have a minimum level of skill with technology. An intermediate goal is a CCSP. You will need 1 year experience, so that's closer to where you will be than the CISSP. For other certifications, it really depends on where you are employed. When you interview, I suggest you express a willingness to take new certifications in line with the organization's needs. Keep watching for more opportunities with certifications, particularly later in the lecture. Yeah. You have many options as a cybersecurity professional, and you may decide to go down other paths depending on your interests and the needs of the firm where you're working. And everyone may be an analyst, whatever that means. You might choose the path not taken or start moving towards management. If you're interested in doing that, you might want to consider an MBA at some point in the future. Or you may decide to go into mobile app development or software engineering and need a master's in CS or SE. You have options, and you won't know until you test the waters. Now, let me give you a short update on what's been going on with me. I encourage you to keep watching. I really do. Really, it will be worth your while. Trust me. Let me start with an apology. I usually post these kinds of video updates at least every month in this class. I've been ill this semester and unable to do so. I seriously thought about taking sick leave, but didn't want to hand the class off to someone else in the middle of the semester. That gets messy, and you're better off with a sick me than someone else who has to get up to speed quickly. I tried to respond to provide individual feedback and respond to most emails as quickly as possible. I am prepared to make some offers if you'll hang on for a few minutes. Now, what in the world do I have? It's called CIDP, chronic something or other, or simplified, chronic Guillain-Barré syndrome. You know. My nerves, particularly peripheral nerves, are injured, so the electrical impulses from my brain don't travel properly, especially to my legs and arms, making them numb and weak. I really noticed this when I tried to walk after I had a second bout with what I call the demon flu. It was really part of the same illness. When I got up, I had trouble walking, but I'd been in the bed for a while, so I thought I just needed to walk around a bit. I got to the 16 hardwood steps to go downstairs to the family room, and it was really difficult to walk down. I thought I was going to fall and had to hold on tight. I finally made it. If I thought walking down was hard, I really didn't think I was going to make it up the stairs later that night. I did about 4 steps at a time and had to rest. I made my husband stand behind me. My legs would not carry me. Problems walking up and down steps is a common symptom for Guillain-Barré because your legs are numb and just don't work right. Now I take steps very carefully and avoid them where possible. Even the 2 steps up from my garage are difficult. It's been over 7 months since I had the first symptoms. Steps are still difficult. So treatment is complicated. My husband had acute Guillain-Barré back in 1994, and the treatment was the same. By the way, Guillain-Barré is an extremely rare illness. They don't know why, but IVIG, intravenous immune globulin, works well. It resets the immune system and helps the body fight off AIDP, acute, and CIDP, chronic Guillain-Barré. I've been on IVIG 5 days a week, every 4 weeks since August, and it has helped. However, I still have symptoms, which indicates it may be chronic and either lifelong or something that may take months and months or years to overcome. The good news for you is I feel guilty for not providing you with the updates like I normally do. So what does this mean? Well, remember the certifications discussion board under Q&A? Take a look at it. Make a post on it using at least one relevant URL with a certification related to cyber. Describe the certification, why it's important, and how to get it. No more than 3 people can describe the same certification, so pay attention to what your classmates are posting. You can earn up to 1 point on your final average. Shh, I wouldn't tell anyone. It's only the first 10 people who post who may receive the extra credit. And it cannot be CISSP, CCSP, or CompTIA A+, which we already discussed. This is an Easter egg. You have to watch the presentation to even know about it. You can tell the definition of the Easter egg. It's hidden within something else. And you can take a look at it. Don't share. Who can you talk to for help? Go to Coles Advising. They know their stuff. They can help you graduate on time. They can help you plan your schedule to maximize your return. They are free. Means you already paid for them. They can do web advising appointments. Really, check them out. Ask your instructors. Talk to me. Remember, even after you leave this class, I'm still a resource. I'm the BS Cybersecurity Coordinator, but even if I'm not the coordinator, you're always welcome to ask me questions. As I already mentioned, don't hesitate to reach out to me. In conclusion, we iterated what you already know. Cybersecurity is a good career option, but there are things you can do to make yourself more marketable, like find experience, be innovative, and market yourself through networking opportunities, and take advantage when your instructor feels guilty. Extra credit is always appreciated, right? We'll see if there are 10 people who take the challenge. Be on the lookout. More to come. Don't tell your friends.